All right, updating the situation with the ATF and this Polymer 80 raids, as they say. Okay, as we all know, the big news story, and it hit every channel, was the ATF went to the company that makes Polymer 80 frame kits, got copies of their financial records, and then we're going and looking for people who bought these kits. So it started a huge firestorm on YouTube and all the different gun channels and gun rights channels, and people blowing a fuse over it. Well, when you look at it, it's best to get an understanding of the 80%. Now, I've done several different 80% projects, okay, made videos on them and discussed it. The weird thing is there's really nothing illegal being done, okay, but the way the laws and the definition of everything are, it's very easy to go from legal to something illegal because there's like a gray area. You know, there's no restriction on buying these things. There's no restriction on if you do the work and finish a Polymer 80, an AR 15 lower, any gun type of any type of gun, firearm. And let's not forget our little friends, the solvent traps, which you can consider an 80% suppressor. Now, for firearms, legal firearms, you know, not submachine guns, automatic weapons, or short barrel rifles or whatever, you can build these legally. They don't have to have a serial number. As long as you do the work, you can do it, this and that, and make a gun. It's perfectly legally owned. The only problem is, if you do this, the things that make it illegal is if by law you are restricted from owning a firearm, be it a convicted felon or underage, or I think domestic violence. If you're convicted of domestic violence, it's like a convicted felon, you cannot own a firearm. Okay. If you fall into that category where you can't legally own it and do it, you're breaking the law. The only one that's a little bit different is this solvent trap suppressor deal. If you wanted to take this and make it a legal suppressor, okay, what you would do is file all the paperwork, send in all the money, pay the fees and taxes, etch a serial number on the tube, send that in with the paperwork, and then once all of this is approved and everything's done and you get the paperwork back, then you could drill it out. There's a video on YouTube where a guy and his daughter do this. They show you drilling it out and what they did and then putting it on a gun and firing it. Okay. It's legal. Doing it without that is illegal. Also, instructing people, I think, how to do it or suggesting that they do it without getting the paperwork is also something that the ATF frowns upon. And if you're making videos like that, they'll give you a hard time. I don't know if you can be arrested for it or not, but you don't want a federal agency angry with you and starting to ask you questions. So we go to what happened here, and I think what it is with the Polymer 80, it's fairly simple. It's probably out of all the 80% projects, the Glock Polymer 80 is the most simple one to do. Okay. They've changed the status to where if you buy the frame kit and all the parts, it's considered a firearm. Now, that is a suggestion that was put into the news and created this whole debacle. Okay. It wasn't that the individual, like I've seen, where somebody was building these pistols and selling them to drug dealers, and they did an investigation, had the guy on tape. You know, somebody did actually break the law. All right. We're looking at nobody has broken the law, nobody is outside the law, but now all of a sudden if you buy a large quantity of these, for whatever purpose, because I think the thing everyone's missing is the individual they went to bought 5 or numerous, I think it's 5, the guy bought 5. If you listen, you get that little information in there. So it's kind of, it's not like they just randomly picked an individual that bought one kit and sent the whole federal force down there to get them. So I'm kind of wondering, is this all some sort of misinformation program or something just to get everyone really riled up? Or, you know, is the ATF going out and harassing people for really not doing anything? Or is there another reason that they have gone and done this? And now with all the updates, everyone is saying, I've seen several people say that they are actively in areas going out and looking for people who have purchased these frames, which everyone who does a report quotes a news link. Okay? And the problem with that is, in this current situation in this country, you know, can you believe anything posted by anyone, be it a legitimate news organization or not? Okay? Is this just a ploy from the government to create more panic and confusion and distract people from some other serious issues that are going on in this country right at the moment? Okay, getting everyone riled up about their gun rights when really we should be concentrating on focusing on finding out who the hell has been elected as the president of this country first and foremost, before we all start panicking and freaking out that we're going to be hunted down for owning 80% kits, or eventually, as this goes on, to firearms. I think we got to prioritize on what we're got to focus on worrying about first. So, you know, it's a tough thing to say. You know, you don't know what's going on. Another thing I'll talk about, which nobody has mentioned, you know, it's kind of not involved with the ATF looking, but would the ATF set you up to see if you're breaking the law, or like ping you, okay, after making all these videos, and especially, you know, in the videos, I have the machines in my garage and I show you how I finished the kit or finished the project. I've gotten a lot of strange emails from people that I don't know and I've never contacted before, and asking me to either finish an AR or machine it out, or want to ask me about solvent traps and that. And the thing is, I do not do anything to modify solvent traps. I just talked about them, and weirdly enough, I just talk about this device, okay, and show you what it is. And I've gotten more hits on the video than anything. I do not recommend, instruct, or tell you to do anything at all with this, which I believe kind of is illegal. Not quite sure, don't want to find out. Okay, I just show you an example of this device. Now, I have finished Polymer 80 handguns and AR-15 lowers. Okay, nothing was illegal. Okay, but see, then once I did that, I start getting these strange things of people asking me to finish the kits for them. Okay, and I don't know who they are, or, you know, I allow people to email me to answer questions. I've had people ask me questions about doing the kit, or, you know, they said, hey, look, I did this, I have this problem, what do you think I did wrong? And I can tell them, well, go back and try this and smooth this out, or, you know, something like that. No big deal. Okay, I'm not doing the work. I'm just giving them a diagnosis. They ran into a problem and there's a malfunction, what they should check and work on. Okay, I don't believe that is illegal. But for me to finish the kits, it's not legal. And I've been you know, and this is where I get the suspicion I've been asked, and I've heard other stories where people have, you know, been approached also. And locally, there was a machine shop, I mentioned it, that somebody was doing that. They set up a machine where you come in, give them the lower, or take the lower, he'd tell you to clamp it in a vise. You clamp it in a vise, you close the doors on a CNC machine, hit the button, and wait there. The part's finished, and then you give him a fee for basically like renting his machine. That is illegal. Found that out the hard way, and this individual was charged when the ATF found out about it. I guess he was advertising this service. Okay. See, this is where you got to understand the law and know what's going on. Okay. You know, and splitting hairs and that, but nobody likes the idea of having a federal agency come down on you for something, supposedly. So where this is all going to go in that, I don't know. I guess we got to hold tight. But if you look at the other things, go to they'll give you a link on the other little podcasts or news releases on this, the other guy's sites. Go to the lawyer's thing, read the instructions and everything else, and you know, abide by the law, do the right thing, don't flip out, okay? And obviously, I really don't think they're gonna come to a lot of people. I think a lot of this is grandstanding and just trying to drive fear into people. It's gonna make the kits more valuable depending on where you buy them. So, you know, it's kind of stupid in a way, because now everybody's gonna be looking for these things, or squirreling them away, or burying them in the yard or something, you know. I don't know. But that's my take on it. So stay tuned and we'll see what happens.